Hey guys, welcome back. So in the previous video, we were working inside of our tracker blueprint. We set up all the custom settings and everything that we're going to need to expose to our level designer friends and our artists so that they can easily, inside of the level editor here, make modifications to those settings right here inside the details panel so they can define the max laps and goals to beat, etc. right here inside the details panel instead of going in the My Player Controller blueprint and searching down those variables and updating them there. So we set up everything that we needed inside of the tracker in the previous video. Up next, what we're going to do inside of our tracker blueprint, again, inside the blueprints folder, go ahead and open that up. We're going to start working on the event graph and add some script that we're going to use to drive the functionality of our system here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's actually make sure that we're on the event graph. So I'm going to go to the My Blueprint panel and just double click on the event graph here. That'll open up the event graph for us. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to delete all of these nodes here. So I'm going to drag a selection box around all those and hit delete because we're going to create our own functionality. So I'm going to start from a fresh slate here. So the first thing that we're going to do before we do anything, we're going to need to get a reference to our My Player Controller blueprint because we're going to be talking to it and passing information and calling functions inside of it quite a bit inside this blueprint. So we're going to get a reference to it and store that right off the bat. That's going to be the first thing that we do. So let's right click on the graph. Let's search for event begin play. So event begin play when the game is started. What we want to do next is right click again in the graph and search for get player controller. So get the player controller. And once we have the player controller, we're then going to drag off the return value and cast to My Player Controller. So this is the player controller that we created and assigned for our players to use. So we are now casting to it so that we can access it directly. So let's connect up our event begin play like so. And what we're going to do now is right click on this pin here. So let's right click on this pin and promote that to a variable. And over in the details, or excuse me, My Blueprint panel, let's rename this to controller reference, like so. So now, whenever we need to talk to My Player Controller, we no longer need to cast to it. We have a reference to it. So anytime that we want to access it or talk to it, we're going to use this variable here. So we're going to come back to this event begin play in a moment. There's a couple other things that we need to do inside the event graph here. So let's right click. First thing we're going to do, add a custom event. So custom event, add custom event. We're going to call this custom event apply settings. And what we're going to do is, let's actually do this now and get it out of the way. Off our event begin play, we're going to call this function so that it gets called when the game is launched. So let's drag off the controller reference here and say apply settings. So after we get our reference, call apply settings, it'll call this and execute whatever is connected to it. And this apply settings is basically going to take all of the user settings, all those custom settings, well, most of them anyway, and pass those over to our My Player Controller blueprint. So to do that, let's get our controller reference and hold Control and drag that into the graph. And the very first thing that we're going to do is drag off of the controller reference and say set max laps. So inside of our controller, our My Player Controller blueprint, we created a variable called max laps. We're going to set that now. So let's set max laps. And we're going to set that to equal the custom settings max lap. So let's left click and drag that in and drop that on top. So whatever the user defines is now going to get passed over and assigned to our My Player Controller blueprint. So let's connect this up like so. Next thing that we're going to do, in the previous video, we created some functions. We're going to call this update times function so that we pass over all of our gold, silver, and bronze and default times, etc. to our My Player Controller blueprint as well. So let's left click and drag in update times and let's connect it up like so. And actually, the last thing that we're going to do for our apply settings here is drag off of controller reference and say start game setup. So there's a custom event or function inside of My Player Controller that we created called start game setup that we want to call here as well. And we'll get to that script a little bit later. There's going to be some initialization inside of the My Player Controller blueprint that we haven't set up yet, but we're going to want to call that right off the bat. So let's apply that here. So our apply settings is complete. Let's actually drag a selection box around this and hit C to create a comment. And all we're going to say is apply user settings when starting the game, like so. Okay, let's hop down a little bit. We have our own start sequence that we're going to need to create inside of our tracker here for the purposes of gathering up all of our checkpoints and assigning some things to it. So we're going to create another custom event here. So let's right-click, insert custom event. We're going to call this custom event just start sequence. I guess that's fine. And we're also going to call this custom event upon begin play. So when the game starts, apply our settings, and then let's drag off of this and say start sequence. So go ahead and call that start sequence custom event. So for our start sequence, what we're going to want to do is, first of all, let's hop over to our My Blueprint. I want to collapse these for a second just to give us a little bit more room. We're going to take our checkpoints. We're going to hold Control and drag that into the graph. So. And now that we have a reference to all of our checkpoints that we've assigned from our level, for each of these, there's going to be something that we want to do. So let's drag off of this here. And let's add a for each loop. Not the loop with break, but the loop itself, because we want to make sure that we get all of them. So let's go ahead and for each loop. And let's connect this up so that it gets called. And I'm actually going to hop over to the checkpoint blueprint for just a second. You don't need to do this, but kind of wanted to illustrate something really quickly. So you can just follow along with the video. So here's our checkpoint blueprint that is being used to determine when we overlap the checkpoint. When it is true, when we have determined that the player has overlapped and cleared it, we're calling a function called checkpoint cleared. And it's asking for a checkpoint number. So it's going to queue up and activate the next checkpoint or pass that through essentially. We're going to set that now automatically inside of our tracker. And what we're going to do is drag off our array index here. So drag off our array index, hit a plus sign, so integer plus integer, and it'll give us a 1 by default. And that's all we want to do. We're now going to drag off of the array element, which is our checkpoint blueprint, and we're going to say set checkpoint number. So we are now setting the checkpoint number variable automatically upon begin play. So let's connect that up, and let's connect this to this, like so. So it's saying for checkpoint 0, it's going to add 1 to it and say that the checkpoint number for the next checkpoint is going to be 1. It's going to come back in and say checkpoint 1, add 1 to it. Next checkpoint is going to be 2, etc. For all of our checkpoints, so it's automatically doing that for us. The next thing we need to do, I'm going to select my checkpoints here and hit Control-C, Control-V to paste it. And I'm going to drag off of it now, and I'm going to say length. Let's get the length of this. And what this will do will give us the total amount of checkpoints. So it gets the number of items in this array, all the checkpoints that we have. We're going to use that and assign that to our total checkpoints variable. So we know how many checkpoints the user has placed inside of our map automatically. So I'm going to hold Alt and drag this in, left click. I'm going to connect this up like so. And I'm going to connect this up to that, like so. So now our total checkpoints are being assigned for us, so we know how many checkpoints we have. Now the next thing that we need to do is actually activate our first checkpoint. So we created that function called activate checkpoint. So let's go ahead and drag that into the graph. I'll left click and drag that in. And it's saying what is the next checkpoint to activate. So for our first checkpoint, let's actually just hook this up first real quick. For our first checkpoint, we're going to take our checkpoints here. We're going to drag off of it, and we're going to perform a get. So we need to get one of those. So go ahead and select get. And for this first checkpoint, we just need to get the first checkpoint. So arrays are zero-based, so the first checkpoint is actually going to be 0. The second checkpoint is actually going to be labeled as 1, etc. So by getting 0, we are getting the first index, the first item, or the first checkpoint inside of our checkpoint array here. And that's going to be the first checkpoint to activate. So let's plug that in up here, like so. The next thing that we need to do, before we finish off this portion of script here, back in our checkpoint blueprint again, we had this event dispatcher called checkpoint cleared. We need to bind an event to that inside of our tracker here, so that whenever a checkpoint is cleared, a separate event inside of our tracker here will get fired off. So to do that, let's actually, let's copy our checkpoints. First of all, let's hit Control C and Control V. And you could just as easily plug all of these in like so, and plug it way over in like so. I'm just copying and pasting it so that it's a little bit cleaner. It accomplishes the same thing, but to each his own. So since we have our checkpoints here, let's drag off of this checkpoints here and for each loop. So for each loop, let's connect that up to the activate checkpoints. And what we're going to do for this is off the array element here, we're going to assign the checkpoint cleared. So that event dispatcher, we're assigning that now. And when we do this, we're going to get a separate custom event that will get fired in this blueprint. So let's make sure that we hook this up like so. So each time we clear a checkpoint, this custom event will also be called, which we can add some additional script to, which we'll do in a moment. First of all, let's rename this to something better than this. I'm just going to hit F2 on it and say checkpoint cleared, like so. Last thing that we need to do for this startup sequence for this tracker blueprint is a little bit of a polished thing, but let's get it out of the way. We're going to go to our custom settings, and we're going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to find our level music here, and hold Control and drag that in. We're actually probably going to want to play this when the game begins, so I'm going to drag off of this now and just say play. There's a play audio component. That's exactly what we want, so start playing it. It's going to give us the audio component of our level music, and it will play it for us once we connect this up, like so. So that's all we need to do for our start sequence. We'll come back to this in a moment. Let's actually just select all of this now, just to be good designers, and add a comment around it. Say, see, this is the start. Maybe zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm typing. So this is the start sequence slash gets all checkpoints and activates, let's say, yeah, activates, if I could spell, activates the first checkpoint and binds event to checkpoint cleared. So our start sequence is complete. The last thing that we're going to do here before we wrap up this video, about 12 minutes in, we're going to set up the script for what happens when a checkpoint is actually cleared. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to happen right here. So every time we clear a checkpoint, we're going to want to run some script to check if we've completed a lap, if the race is over, etc. So we're going to do that here. So let's actually start off by going to the My Blueprint panel. We created a function in the previous video called lap check. So we're going to take that and drag that into the graph. So left click and drag that into the graph. And we're going to hook up the executable out to our lap check, like so. And we're going to take our next checkpoint actually and plug that into our lap check here. So go ahead and plug that into the checkpoint for the lap check, like so. Next thing that we're going to do, once we clear a checkpoint, we're going to play our sound effect as well. So let's go down to the details panel, or My Blueprint panel. Let's grab our checkpoint sound effects here. I'm going to hold Control and left click and drag it in. And just as we did with our level music, I'm going to drag off of it and say play. It's going to play the audio component of it. So I'm just move this down, something like this, and hook that up. Next thing we need to do is determine if the race is actually over when we clear a checkpoint. So we're going to go and grab our controller reference. I'm going to hold Control, left click, and drag that in. And inside of it, we created a Boolean variable called race complete. So all we're going to do is drag off of this and say get race complete, like so. Then I'm going to hold B and left click to create a branch. I'm going to connect this up and our condition, like so. And if the race is complete, we have a function also created inside of our My Player Controller blueprint called restart. So let's drag off of this and search for restart, because we want to call the restart function inside of our player controller if the race is complete. So again, this is why we created all that prep work we did, so that we didn't have to hop back to our player controller and then create it and then come back to this and then hook it up. So just kind of getting all of our prep work done allowed us to easily hook this up right here. And that's actually all we need to do for our checkpoint cleared. In the next video, we're going to be working on our functions inside of this tracker blueprint, and then finally testing. So let's add a comment around this really quickly and wrap up this video here. So I'm going to add C, and I'm going to say checkpoint cleared. Check and see if race is over. And if so, restart. So that function or that portion of script is complete. Our event graph is actually set up for now. I'm actually going to select all of our event begin play. Let's just add a comment around this just for clarity. And just say event begin play game, or let's say get controller reference / game init, or game initialization. So we are done, actually. We are actually going to pause now. We're about 16 minutes in. We created all the script that we'll need for our event graph and set up what happens for applying the user settings, getting all of our checkpoints and assigning a checkpoint number, activating the first checkpoint, as well as binding our checkpoints to a custom event that gets called whenever we clear a checkpoint inside this tracker blueprint. So let's compile and save. And in the next video, we will work on each of these functions here that are crucial to making sure our system works. Once we've completed all these functions, we'll be able to hop into our level and finally populate our race with checkpoints all the way around so that we can actually do laps. We can cross all of our checkpoints. When we get to the last one, the first one will pop up and we can go around our race a couple times here. And that's actually going to be the next thing that we do. So let's pause here and we'll pick it back up in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.